Okay. So, there was a couple things I forgot to mention from the video that I did uh, when I was on break from work, when I, you know, did almost 10 minutes of that video as I was walking. My brain wasn't fully processing. I was mostly thinking about getting back to work on time for my break, since breaks at my job are 30 minutes long. And I was talking to my shift manager before I took the walk. I gotta be quick with this video as well because my video, I mean, my phone is on 13% right now, so I have to charge it real soon. But I'm home now, and it's 1:30 in the morning. But I'm on the steps, and my camera's facing down, so it's dark. And there was I wasn't very clear on everything because there was a couple things that I needed to mention that I forgot to mention, um, that I needed to be more specific about. So about my job, I did mention that I was $9 an hour, and like I said, it's not much, but it's to contribute to bills. It's to contribute to anything that's important to pay for. I mentioned college tuition, but um, I'm basically on hiatus from college because um, I have student loans to pay off. I should have been more specific. That's what I have to pay off. Um, and also, um, at college, like I've been burnt out for the past 3 years, and every time I've been trying to get back, I've been failing college classes. So when I've entered the business major, that's when I just like started flunking out. This has been happening for the past 3 years. Now, I haven't been in any college classes this year at all, so I haven't done anything. I did start working at my job because I applied back in February. I started working at my job since um late March. Um and it's $9 an hour. I've been there for 7 months. Sometimes, because on Sundays through Thursdays they close at 8. The theaters closes at 8 normal time, and on Fridays and Saturdays they close at 11. Now, if you're a checker usher, which is a position for the theaters specifically, where you do checking and cleaning, um, you get out like an hour and a half or 2 hours later. So sometimes, like I would get out around like 10 or 10:30 on Sundays through Thursdays, and Fridays and Saturdays I would get out around. I would get out around 12:30 or 1 in the morning, and I would get home by 11 on Sundays through Thursdays, and I would get home on around 2, 1:45 or 2:15 in the morning on Fridays or Saturdays as a checker usher. Sometimes I forget to clock out when I'm working as a checker usher. When I work on Fridays or Saturdays because just a lot on my mind on those days. And Fridays and Saturdays are the busiest days, literally. When you're working at the movie theater, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays are the most required days to work, when people have to be the most available. Um, I have Mondays and Wednesdays off because Mondays and Wednesdays are the things where I have to get things done. Wednesdays, I take out trash. Mondays, I have to do laundry. Or those are the days most of the time I do laundry. And of course, there's a couple things I also do as those are my days off. I have to get things from help my mom get things from the grocery store. I also have to go to the bank. So sometimes I would also schedule appointments on those days. $9 an hour, yeah. I know it's not much, but besides bills and student loans, I also pay for other personal things, like sometimes it would be groceries, or usually it's like a payment plan. My brother has yet to get a job because he really has to fucking apply. He doesn't want to work at the job I work at because the thing is, he's really fucking lazy here. I mean, sometimes me and him get stuff done, but he is constantly on his video games a lot. And you guys know this because for those of you who have been listening to my videos, like, you probably, if you have watched any of the videos that basically are screen recorded gameplays, you probably have heard him in the background a couple of times. He has a loud mouth. One of them, of course, was, and this is a perfect example. Remember the video, that the Brick 90s game video that got reported for hate speech? That was his voice in the background where he was saying stuff. I didn't even say a word in the video. He mostly was talking. He was saying all that stuff because he was playing Modern Warfare or Call of Duty. And he talks with his friends. He says offensive things. And I have no control over that. I mean, part of it is my fault because I could have just went to another area and like I could have went to a quiet room and I could have just recorded the gameplay, but honestly my mind just wasn't focused on that. So unfortunately, whatever happened with that, it got reported for hate speech. Like I said, it could have been YouTube itself, because YouTube just, they report mostly videos for copyright and stuff like that. So that's like automatic stuff. Or it could have been a a random sensitive person that randomly watches my gameplays. Sometimes that happens, and they were sensitive and they got offended. Not really like there's much I can do about that. Best thing I can say is screw them. I don't know what else to say. Eventually, I was gonna mention it later, but eventually I will do a video again on the Brick 90s gameplay. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, like, I will do a re-upload. Like, I will do another gameplay of it if I could find the gameplay in the App Store. My battery's on 12%, so I'm trying to be as quick as possible. But yeah, eventually I'll do that again. I'll make sure nobody's else's voices are being recorded. Hopefully I can find another screen recorder that won't a mobile screen recorder that won't record people's voices. I know Mobizen has that option, but I have to pay for the device that's like $60 for my voice and anyone else's voice to not be recorded, which I think is like external. That way only the internal audio could be recorded, so like only the gameplay audio would be recorded. Unfortunately, I'm not wasting $60 on that. No fucking way. I'm poor as hell. I've been like this for a long time, you know. So I'm not gonna be that kind of guy that's gonna waste my money on that kind of stuff. Um, Now, because I have a job and I'm helping out pay for stuff, because obviously I can't really do that since, I flunked out of college. Part of the reason was because of myself. I did fail on my own terms because I was stressed out, because I got tired of it. Um, and I didn't really ask for any help. I, I was just kind of like, fuck this kind of mood, quite honestly. But there was also other factors. So, yeah. Anyways, my brother is being told to get a job, so he has to help out. But, um, yeah, it is what it is. I have a brother and 3 sisters. Now, my oldest sister is, she has the same last name that I do, and we come off of our father's side, which is German. And then my other 2 sisters and my brother are basically my half brother and my half sisters, or my step brother and step sisters, because they come from my stepfather's side, as he has a Puerto Rican last name. And so my stepfather is basically their father, and that's why they are my step 2 stepsisters and my 1 step brother, or half brother and 2 half sisters, I guess. But they have this. We both have the same. We all had the same mom. My mom originally was with my dad, my biological dad, at first, but he owes so much child support, and he did awful things. And by the time I was born, he broke up with my mom, and he was just like very violent and stuff. And there was a lot of personal things that happened. My mom wanted to get away from all the drama and stuff that happened, all the crazy shit that happened in her lifetime. From where she previously lived, from where I was born in. There's a reason why I call myself the New Jersey Devil. I'm from New Jersey, but moved here to Pennsylvania. So, yeah, my father's still out in New Jersey, and ever since my mom moved out from there and away from him and all the other shit, he owes a lot of child support. And then my stepfather came into our lives. He was with my mom for 16 years, and there was some domestic abuse. I mean, there were some bad things that happened in my childhood, but Rob was I'm sorry, I said his name, shit. My stepfather, I'm neutral on, because, he did some good things, he did contribute to some, but then 6 years ago, my mom left him because domestic abuse. It happened to all of us. I really just like, we lost respect for him, like, all starting 10 years ago. And that's where the problems really kicked in. because I don't want to get into too much personal detail, but um, he, I mean, my actual father was worse than he was. Like, my actual father has been in jail and stuff, but um, he was much more abusive and stuff. But my stepfather has done more fatherly things. However, he would, because he would eventually give up on that, he would make more other bad things a priority. Um, my father could kick my stepfather's ass, though. He knows how to fight, but my stepfather doesn't know. Because my stepfather is out of shape and stuff, and he's a high school dropout. And my father, I think, actually graduated high school, but still, my father has been to jail more times than my stepfather. And my stepfather, he's just really disgusting. So, my stepfather, I do respect more though, because he was a much more fatherly figure and has been there for us up until he started, doing stuff that he shouldn't have been doing, like getting drunk and cheating on my mom, all this other stuff, and you know, abusing my step brothers and sisters and my my biological sister when we were living at the previous house we used to live in. Because he started really acting bad when I turned to a teenager. Like, he was not paying bills and stuff. He would be doing other things that wasn't a priority, doing things behind everyone's back, and making bigger messes. He has, making things harder, almost homeless because of those specific things, and it was very hard to go through. And there was a couple other things outside of my personal life that also happened. I had to be responsible for. Just so much to take in. And by the time we moved out from him, it was like my senior year of high school, and it was just like completely fucking burnt out. And then I can't believe I graduated, but I I had epilepsy in February. 5 years ago is when it started, and I literally had epilepsy at the age of 18. And just like my biological sister, who's 3 years older than me, my oldest sister, she also has epilepsy, and she had them since she was 17. So, throughout my teenage life, I lived through domestic abuse while I was in intermediate high school and high school. And then by the time I got to my senior year, we moved out of that, moved into a rented home. But even then, I was like, I didn't even have a job. So it's like, it was a lot to just overcome. Because I was in honors classes and stuff. And I also had to, do chores, and I had to do laundry. I had to help buy stuff. I had, this was before college. I had to, take my youngest sister, youngest stepsister to boxing, um, stuff like that. And then, there was some things I didn't even finish in my senior year of high school, or some things I failed, and yet I still managed to fucking graduate. But I thought it was a complete joke. Another thing that could have held me back was literally one textbook from the previous year. That was from my honors trigonometry class. That could have prevented me from graduating, but the librarian said because I haven't owed any other books and I have been very polite, she actually paid it off for me. So that wasn't on my record, and I was able to graduate. I don't even know how. I'm just like shocked that I was able to graduate. Too bad I didn't get to do the things I wanted to do because of the other person with the domestic abuse and stuff that I went through. And then during the summer, after I graduated, I was forced into college. I didn't think I was ready for it because I wasn't even fucking prepared. Like, I wasn't even prepared at all. Like, I don't even know how I got into honors classes. Like, I only passed because I got the work done, or tried to get as much as done as possible. And sorry, I have to 10% battery life. I have to be quick. So I was forced into college. I was like stressed out, like had epilepsy. I had some, I did have some breaks. I did do some personal events in the summer, but I had to attend college. I basically went in last minute because if I got a job, I would have to be stuck paying all the bills. It was like bad timing for everything. So I had to go into college, even though I didn't feel ready because I didn't even have work experience. And there's personal reasons why I didn't even work during my domestic abuse lifestyle. Like I said, I can't get into too much detail. I literally have to, talk privately about that because I'm not comfortable speaking out in public about it. I have to talk to those who I trust. And so I was able to attend college, but I still wasn't ready. I had to use financial aid to get in and stuff like that. I had to use some record files and whatnot. I didn't even know how scholarships worked. I had no idea how scholarships worked at all. Like, that's how bad it was for my senior year of high school. I had absolutely no idea on what the fuck I was doing. I literally had the mindset of a middle schooler still, basically. And I didn't have the mindset of an adult. Or a complete adult, to say the least. I wasn't ready for the real world, and I'm still not. I'm 23 years old. I'm still living with my mom in a rented house. So, I went to college. Things actually worked out well academically for a year. But because personal things happened with my, still being stressed out with, chores and, mostly my stepsister that's 20 years old. Things happened with her and we weren't on good terms. So by the time it was 2019, when things eventually started going downhill, I got burnt out when I entered a business major. I just lost it again. I really lost it again. Like, I was glad I got through high school, but then 2 years after that, I got burnt out from college. And I tried to go back and forth, but every time I tried going back for the next 2 years after 2019, I mean, like, I was still going to college class, but I went for like part time, and even then, it still just wasn't working for me. Like I went to a different college in 2021, but online, I only passed one class, but then I got burnt out again. As soon as I saw assignments that were just like hitting me, that were so much to deal with, and they were during times when I had to get other stuff done. It's like, I can't do this. Like, I just like freaking lost it, and I just lost interest. So part of it was my fault, but at the same time, there was also other contributing factors. And then my oldest sister moved with her boyfriend, and then my stepsister, that's 20 years old, moved with her boyfriend as well. And she also had her first job and then she eventually quit it. It was maintenance at a mall. And from there, let me check. 9% battery life. From there, it led up to this year. Now it's just my youngest stepsister, my mom, me, and myself living in the rented home that we do. So, I still owe a student loan debt, and from the college classes that I failed, and because of the classes that I failed, I can't really get financial aid back, so I'm stuck with student loans. It's hard to even say that because people ask me at my job, like, are you in college? Like, I have people in real life ask me these questions, and it's embarrassing because I'm afraid to tell them that I failed, but I just don't have the fucking motivation to go back. Part of me wants to go back to get educated, but at the same time, I don't really want to know what I want to do with my life. That's why this year I got a job, because at least I got an experience, even though it's only a $9 an hour job. And now it's my sister, 20-year-old sister, is working at the job. And even though I thought it was going to be bad, it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it would. I'd gotten used to it. And also because 3 days after she got interviewed, something bad really happened. I can't mention that. A lot of these things I mentioned that are really private, I would have to mention in private. Like, I can't mention out in public. I would literally have to tell a friend over the phone, a close friend, or talk in private with the family members and close friends. But there was other things that were coming to my mind besides my stepsister. I'm still trying to keep an eye on her at my job. Now, also the reason is because sometimes she acts just like her own father, like a narcissist. So, but she wants to complain about him. She's a hypocrite and things she says online, so I'll leave it at that. But he owes a lot of, a lot of child support to them, to my stepbrothers and stepsisters. And so he has been a little more responsible than my father, but still, he makes other things much more of a priority because, domestic abuse and stuff. And so here we are, things have always been a struggle, and it is what it is. Literally have to talk to my family members in private about how they went through their struggles, because I can't mention anything out in public detail. Like, I can't mention too much specific detail. So, yeah, sometimes it's just that's just the way it is. Sometimes, you know, um, my my brother still has to look for a job. He's been on the video game way too much, and it's just like, and you would know this, but a lot of you who watch my screen recorded gameplay videos from my phone would know this, because you probably heard him in the background. I think I mentioned this earlier. I'm not sure. But he's constantly on his own video games, talking to his friends, making offensive jokes or whatever. And I should have been in another room to just record my own voice, in another quiet room where nobody's around, but part of it is my own fault. But I didn't think that way, so my video wound up to hate speech being reported. And so I'll eventually make a video again on the Brick 90s game. I'll make another gameplay video, but make sure like nothing personal or anything like that is being recorded. Also, or my brother being obnoxious, but yeah, he has to find a job. He has to help pay for things. So there's that. And we're struggling a lot more, but he's still on his video games a lot, and I don't know how often he's been searching, but he has to really be searching now more than ever. He doesn't want to work at my job because he wants to work at something that pays more and something that is actually much more hard work. And even though he's a fucking lazy bum, I mean, sometimes he would help get stuff done here in this house, but he is now on his video games more than ever since he graduated back in June, because he's 18 years old. He has been much more lazier. We gave him a 2-month break. I talked about this with my mom, because I didn't even get the chance to do this when I got out, because I was forced into college right away. So we gave him a chance, but now it's been like 4 months. And he was supposed to start searching around 2 months ago, like mid-August. And so far he's been trying to, just like last year, around in late November and December, and then early January, where me and him were trying to apply for Amazon. I was applying to a few jobs, and it's been a year. He has been trying to apply for jobs, but he hasn't been applying to many. So he literally has to start picking up the pace. But it's understandable. Like, he doesn't want to work at a low-paying job or work at a restaurant. Just like I don't want to work at one, because I'm not really comfortable with that kind of stuff. But he still has to find a job. Like, right, like he has to be snappy. Like, he has to at least work at a grocery store or something that pays off a good amount of money, because it's hurting. And unfortunately, he's gonna have no fucking choice. But he keeps making the excuse, oh, but I don't want to. But we're gonna be homeless if he doesn't make up the choice. He fucking has to. And if he doesn't, the next step is my mom just might kick him out at some point because he's not doing his fucking part. My mom warned me about this part, but at least, you know, at least I had money from, my college to help pay until I was able to find the actual jobs to apply for this past February. So he really has to start looking. And I think he did get some rides from my mom to start applying, but I don't know if he's been applying to other jobs. He could go to the library, use Wi-Fi, even if it's only for an hour, and just apply. Or he could search on his phone and apply, and he can get calls from them and ask. But I mean, or get emails. But I don't know. I really don't fucking know. So I know my oldest sister, my biological sister, was also trying to get a job. Well, she has been getting a few other jobs at other places, but she originally wanted to work with me as well. But she applied like at the movie theater. But she's like disabled, so she can't really work at a cash register or anything like that. She literally would have to work as something like an usher, or which is like sweeping the movie theaters. And they don't do full time; they only do part time for $9 an hour. She wanted to do full time, but I told her like they don't have that. They don't pay that much. So she was applied for as usher, or and she could also, if she does get interviewed, because she applied in late August. So if somewhere down the road, maybe a month or two from now, if they're still hiring, if she does get the job, if she does get the interview, maybe she could also ask to apply for a door, which is basically ripping apart the tickets and telling people which auditoriums they need to go to see movies. Because her working as box office or at concessions or higher up or security, those would not go well for her. She cannot handle those kinds of jobs because she can't really do math and stuff. So, but I wouldn't mind her working there because she's tolerable, and me and her are pretty close. She's 26 years old, turning 20. No, well, she turned 27 recently. Her birthday was October 5th. So she turned 27 already. I would give her something for her birthday, but I've spent so much money lately. I mean, I've already used 2 whole checks from the month of September to help pay for rent, to help my mom pay for rent. And that's like $400 that I gave my mom. So it fucking sucks, especially during these times where everything is rising up. It just sucks. It really fucking does. So yeah. What else did I want to say? Let me check the battery life. 7%. Okay. So, I think I've discussed everything about my job. And all that. I did discuss about my sister, my 20-year-old sister. Um, I don't want to get into too much detail. I guess the best way to put it is that she's kind of a narcissist and things she says online, and some other things with the way she is. It's the reason why I didn't want her working there at the job. But so far, she's been actually helping out, unlike when she was living here with us. She wasn't doing much. She was hard to deal with when she was living with us, really. But at my job, she's been a little more tolerable. She's been helping out and stuff, so I guess that's a little good. But then again, I'm still neutral, keeping an eye out on her. Um, like I said, 3 days passed after she had her interview. After she had her interview, because she had applied on her own. I never asked her to join. Um, she wanted to join, and she originally tried asking me like what positions am I good for, and I told her straight up like I don't know, because she literally could do anything. She's not like my oldest sister, like where she's disabled. She literally could do freaking anything. She's been doing decent, but I'm still keeping an eye out on her because she could be sneaky. She could possibly be sneaky or whatever. Just like she was when she was living here. Who knows? I'm neutral on her. But yeah. To discuss in further detail, if you're a personal friend of mine, I would probably have to talk to you more over the phone or in personal life about that kind of stuff. I don't want to get into too much personal detail. I mean, I already mentioned where I live, so I'm not like about the state that I lived in. So it's not like those levels of personal, but like other personal stuff, like very very personal, like exact location or whatever, that kind of stuff. I don't want to mention, or the stuff that's like embarrassing or whatever, or stuff that's very personal that is important that shouldn't be discussed to the public. I don't want to talk about. But yeah, that stuff that I mentioned about my job and my sister, um, stress and anything stress related. I already did talk. I was gonna mention it later, but I already, since this basically was already covered with the stress that I dealt with. The Brick 90s game situation, I already talked about that, so that's also checked off. So that leads down to my computer wire, something I wanted to discuss more, and the replies. So about my computer wire, that basically what happened was one day I was using my laptop. I think I was either on Twitter, I was watching a YouTube video, or I was watching Netflix. I was literally using it for non-important purposes. And it was charging too. So it randomly just shut off. And it had issues charging. And I tried switching batteries with my brother's old laptop that I guess was also HP laptop. We used to switch batteries before, but then we switched back. I also tried charging his laptop and it seemed to be charging, but then I tried charging my own again, even when we switched batteries, and my laptop started like charging really slow. And then sometimes it would do weird things, like it would go back to a lower percentage even while it was charging, and then it would also say not charging, and then it would also, like, while it was plugged in, and then sometimes even when it was plugged in, I would have to twist it a certain way so that way it would be charging. But then when I would accidentally move my bed, it would like stop charging it, and it wouldn't even say anything. Like, it wouldn't even charge at all, and it wouldn't even say anything. It would just say like the battery life it's on, and just like act like it's not plugged in, and it would just still lower the battery percentage. And I have no idea what's going on. I don't know if it's the batteries themselves, because the last time it happened, it was the batteries themselves itself. That's why me and my brother originally switched batteries, like, I think a year or two ago. But I think it's because possibly like storage is almost taken up, but I don't know what to do about that, because I mean, anything that's in my files, that's all of that is cleared, so it's not any of that. It's more like whatever stuff is just in my personal PC, like Windows updates and stuff has taken it up, and it's really nothing I can do. So I might need a new battery or a new charger. I'm gonna have to test it again. I don't know if it's gonna work again, but I'm not gonna be on my laptop as often, and that's gonna make it harder to use the YouTube Creator Studio. It's also gonna be harder because my laptop is mostly needed for fucking paying off my college stuff. So I really need it for that. I also really need it if I apply to another job. I'm going to need important purposes for it again at some point. If I decide I go back to college, even if I get like bankrupt on student loans or whatever, I might decide I want to go back to college, even though I haven't fully decided what I wanted to do because I'm not really motivated. And quite frankly, I haven't been doing very well in college for the past 3 years, so I'm just being really honest. Like, I've been somewhat lazy and at the same time somewhat hardworking. It kind of goes both ways. There are days I'm just laying on my ass, and other days I'm just work my tail to the fucking bone. So I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. Of course, I'm paying for stuff and other stuff that's on my mind. But it all depends on how things go. Alas, this is where I get to my final point about the response. I know I haven't responded to my friends in about a week and a half or 2 weeks. Let me check the battery life on this real quick. 6%. So, the final touches on this. I wanted to mention that the reason I haven't responded is because of exactly what I mentioned. I've been 50% lazy, 50% hardworking. There are days that I've been working at my job. Sometimes my friends would try reaching out to me during the times that I've been working or times I've been out doing things, like cooking or cleaning or out shopping or out to the bank or out working. And other times I haven't responded to them because I've been lazy playing video games, or I've been sleeping, or I've just been laying down or oversleeping because I have sleeping problems. And I'm just being honest here. Like, I'm just like still fucking burnt out. It's really hard to be motivated, and it's really hard to get out of the situation because everything just piles on one another. I never really planned on making videos like this, but unfortunately, I just felt like I needed to do this at some point to get it across. So sometimes I would tell my friends, like, to explain to them, like, this is the reason for this stuff, but sometimes uh, I haven't even reached out to them. So I'm that's why I'm making these videos in case, like, it, if I haven't responded, videos like this, here's the fucking reason for it. Or here are the reasons for it. There's multiple reasons. Part of it is myself, part of it is because of other things. But yeah, if I haven't reached out to anyone, it's because of those reasons, and that's why I haven't been active, and why I haven't reached out to anyone. You know, sometimes it's just depends on my mood, unfortunately. It's just like when life smacks you, you know, it's like even when you stay on top of things, when you're an inch too high, you can get all the things done you want in the world. Life just smacks you down and you wind up being behind again. And everything becomes stressful again. It makes you wonder, like, human society is just like very crucial. I In terms of morals, it's very crucial to fucking natural life. Like the things we do to nature is horrible, but also in terms of human society itself, what we do to each other, it's like very stressful and worrying. So both morally and stressfully, because we got so much to do and worry about, and I could see why this generation, just lacks so much motivation, and why we are so tech savvy. At the same time, I don't understand because a lot of people are into the cringe culture stuff, but whatever. I mean, I can't fully judge that. It is what it is, you know? So, if I haven't reached out to anyone, eventually I'm gonna respond back, but I don't know how long it's gonna take. I mean, tomorrow I'm probably gonna cook myself something. I also have to make a few other appointments for things. I also don't know if I should do this or for Monday, but I have to do shopping again. So there's other things I have to get done. I don't know if tomorrow they're gonna call me in for opportunity for hours, or because that happens by email. So God, who knows? Um, well, we'll have to see. We'll really have to see. Um, but yeah, I apologize for anyone who I haven't reached out to. I reached out to a couple, like three 3 weeks ago was probably the last time I reached out to anyone, or to my friends. No. 2 or 3 weeks ago. Um, but yeah, and the thing is, I know I have I've been in the past. I took my time before not responding as well, but that's because it was for different reasons. I was like actually busy back then, like before 2019. Like I was actually busy, very very busy. Sometimes I was lazy, but I was mostly actually like doing a lot of things. But then I mean I was also here and there, or up until this point, ever since like last year, I've been like more lazy, like 50% lazy, 50% hardworking. So I've been drained more than ever. And I don't know when or if I'm ever even gonna get back on top, because it's a lot of stress. I don't know. Um, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be motivated ever again with everything that goes on in this world, and outside of my life, and everything that's in my personal life. It's a lot to just decide on, and a lot to look upon. So, anyways, for those who I owe, you know, an explanation as to why I haven't responded, for those who I need to respond to, I will eventually respond when I get the chance. Hopefully, maybe, well, since it's midnight as of me talking to this, so maybe later on in the evening of Sunday, or maybe Monday. Who knows? I'll eventually get the chance. We'll see how things go. Um, it's just been crazy. But yeah, thanks for listening. Bye bye.